All right. Well, welcome everyone. I am so happy you're here. And I truly mean that. It's always a pleasure and an honor for me to be able to, chat with you guys on a regular basis and, kind of get to know everybody in some capacity right here on our Zoom calls that we do daily, 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. And that's exciting. So welcome to the daily discussion and dApp overview. I am again, I'm so grateful and thankful to host this call. My name is Phyllis, PSC 100X on the dApp. And today we're going to cover, how to best utilize the Vetter platform. Okay, that's going to be one topic. And the other one is going to be, what are some of your best practices that you do as an investor and or scout or vetter that helps you work through, some of the challenges that you might have throughout the day in regards to the crypto space. So this call is going to be interactive, like I already warned. So please, 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 it's really important that we have some interaction here, guys. It's what makes, it really does what makes this call. It makes it really just hum, and it does really, it just does a lot of great things. It makes people feel comfortable. It gives you an opportunity to kind of voice what it is that you want to voice. And just keep in mind, this is definitely a zone where nothing's going to be held against you or anything like that. This is a whole area, a time, your time, where you can just take as much time as you want to be able to do as you want and to be able to bring as much as to the community here as you want, get all your questions answered, and definitely know that this is a no judgment zone for sure. So raise your hand if you have a question or drop them in the comment section and I'll be happy to cover them. So whether you're a veteran in this community or whether you're just brand new and you want to actually just get started, but you don't know how, this is a great place for you as well. This is actually one of the best utilized and the best resource tool that you can use anywhere in the crypto space. I'll tell you that anywhere, hands down, anywhere, truly. If you're brand new and you don't know what Vetter is, or you have no clue what I'm talking about, that's okay. I didn't either at one point in my life, okay? So that's okay. That's why we're all here, and that's why we have this amazing community. So if you're brand new, you can also go to vetter.ai and you can take a look there. There's a lot of great information that will help you just kind of get a better understanding of what Vetter is. So by show of basically hands, or however you want to do it, or by messages in the chat box, who is brand new today? Oh, Andre, you're brand new. Woohoo! Welcome, Andre. Glad you're here, my friend. Excited that you're here. Anybody else that's brand new? You're welcome. Anybody else who's brand new? Come on, guys. I'm sure there are. I know there's a lot of new people coming in. I can see it in the Telegram group. So yes, everybody welcome, Andre. We're glad to have you, and it's going to be a great experience for you. Andre, please don't worry if you don't understand everything. It's okay. It will come in time when we do these calls 6 days a week. So you will definitely start to get that layering effect of little by little, incrementally put on top of you every single day. So everybody, if you can all welcome, welcome Andre, that would be awesome. Brand new to the Vetter community, and we love that. It's just amazing. It's a great way where we can actually communicate with other people, other like-minded people like ourselves. So I'm going to just go into a couple things. One of the first things that we actually do is I usually just kind of go through just some updates. And I always have a problem with my mouse, and you probably hear me say that all the time. We're just going to go through some marketing updates so that you know what's going on around town. Okay. And the first thing is that we will have an AMA, okay, with Anonymous Marketing Agency. That is our marketing agency. And that's going to be, it's actually this Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time, and 6 p.m. UTC time. So what does AMA mean? It means ask me anything. So it's going to be an opportunity for you to be able to get in front of the development team, the core team, and get all your questions answered. And they're going to do an update too on where we are in marketing, which is always amazing. And it's a great experience to be able to do that too. So make sure that you're here. It will be recorded, so don't worry. I'm just going to recap. Actually, I don't need to recap because I actually have something better. I want to go over the new releases and the functions. On the call on Saturday, we did take a deep dive into some of these, got some clarity, got some more clarity. Actually, it's every day I'm learning something new on the dApp, which is amazing. But let's talk about the new major releases. Jeremy put this out yesterday in the Telegram group. I thought it was worth talking about. So the major features on release 2.0.1, okay, which was done just a couple days ago. And the one is the Vetter signals. It's a follow me signal release. That means that those who are in tier 4 users will be especially excited to see the recent additions only they get to take advantage of. So if you're not at tier 4, work towards that, because then you'll be able to know exactly what I'm talking about when I say it's amazing. Tier 3 is able to follow one user to see how it works and know if it's something that you like and something that you might want to upgrade to become a tier 4, because they have unlimited amounts of people that they can actually follow. Also, you can get alerts when they favorite or participate in projects. So for instance, if you're following me and I favorite a project, or I actually say I'm participating in a project, you're going to know that because you're going to be notified. Pretty awesome. You're going to get alerts when anybody, the scout that you're following, whether they assume or scout or vet a project or do anything that engages with the platform, you will also get an alert on that. You'll see updates in your notification area in the future. These may be sent to Telegram channel in the future. So that's pretty cool as well. The projects, see the projects you were alerted to in your tracker pages. So you can go to the tracker pages and you can also see your alerts there as well. And functionality to watch, favorite, and participate in projects. Follow a project were enhanced as well. So, and they are incredible. So tier 3 users get 5 of all 3 types, and tier 4 is basically unlimited. The advanced feature update includes projects you follow and projects of users you follow as well. So other releases, projects include Discord and or Telegram. Okay, and neither are required moving forward. So that means that when you're a scout and you're actually getting put your scout project in, before you had to make sure that you had unique, it was unique. Well, right now, it says here it includes Discord, and neither are required, moving forward. So move tiers and ranks from the dashboard to the tracker. That's amazing. So you can actually see what each tier actually represents. Adjustments to videos and video player on the dashboard. These are some subtle things that you probably haven't really noticed, but there's some fixes that, updates that we had to do. Adjustments to gains and tips section, sorting and displaying of fractions in the gains. That's pretty cool. And tip users. More price data fields will be added to projects, including the ability for auditors to add vol, Vetter audited highest low, better than an all-time high or all-time high, as we HTA all-time high numbers to projects for each duration. So more to come on this. I know Ryan speaks about it a lot. And what we're trying to do, guys, is not what we are doing. So we want to set ourselves apart, because a lot of times when you see these projects, you're looking at projects and they're saying, wow, that project did a 200x. Well, it really didn't, because only one person really probably got it at the very top and had an opportunity to get, a 200x, right? But what we do is we look at the Vetter audited highest low, okay? And that will really give you an understanding about the significance on that as well. Add a number of new networks and launch pads to the system. We've done a lot of that. So I'm sure that you've already saw that as well. And some other issues that we've done, fix some issues with voting projects and error handling notices. Okay, we've done our job there. Many new safety features were added, and this required a passcode to enter to read or access your actual site. Okay, note the password really is for you to actually, it's really so no one can impersonate you. I know it's a little bit of a pain, but it actually is for your own safety. More checks around the launch dates must be in the future to set it for example. Okay, a lot of times what happens, there's been people who set them in the incorrect field. User profile updates were done. The ability to cancel a project was added for projects that could not launch. I love that. Many other bugs, fixes, wording, changes on messages, and others to clean up, and speed of task. And also we have a new help desk email. It's helpdesk@better.ai. So write that down so that you know that is something for you to actually remember at a later date. Okay, so I think that was it on the updates. Okay, well, basically what I wanted to do today is I wanted to have basically really a strategy session of best practices as a scout. Now, remember, when you're on the platform, okay, you're not only, you're an investor. Okay, that's one way to look at it. Okay, you're an investor, but you're also a scout, or you could also be a vetter or even a voter, or all of them for that matter. Okay, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of get and pick some brains of some really top-notch people here that are doing amazing on what are some of the tips and tricks and strategies that you use on a daily basis. So we'll call them like best practices, of the scout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually we're going to kind of delve into it a little bit. I'm not going to be using the slides so much, but there's just a couple things that I wanted to point out. One is, remember your strategy. So if you don't have a strategy, let us help you find a strategy. Okay. Check your notifications. We talked about that on Saturday's call. You have signals now that you can actually utilize in your best practices. You have favorites you can utilize in your best practice. You can actually look at projects that perhaps your people that you're following participated in. That might be another great practice. Watch list, review your own projects, and of course, ready to launch. So there's going to be a lot of different things that we're going to be able to talk about. So is your strategy RIP FT? What does that mean? That means recoup your investment and then basically sell for profit. So keep all the remaining tokens that you have for profit. So meaning if I bought 10,000 tokens and I wanted to actually get out of this, and I wanted to actually keep some tokens in that, because I think it might go up at a later date. You might want to take out what it is that your profit was plus an additional amount, so that you can actually, make maybe 20–30% on that. And then, leave the rest of the tokens in, and in hopes that, your strategy is the right strategy at that point. And I can tell you, I've made a lot of money that way. You can actually, at a later date, you may find that, matter of fact, that happened to me the other day. Someone said to me, hey, this is actually mooning. And I'm like, hey, I have that project, let me go look at it. Or maybe your strategy is that you get in and you want to recoup your investment. You want to take a 20–30% commission, not a commission, but a profit. And then you just want to rip out of it, meaning take all your stuff and just get out. Or is your strategy about maybe a long time hold? So again, there's different strategies that you can use, and they're just a few that I mentioned. But again, we can help you definitely talk about different strategies on that as well. So what I'd like to do is, let me actually open up this to full screen, and let me get my participants up so I can actually see them as well. What I wanted to ask is, and I want to set the stage, for you. Okay. So the stage is, your let's say you're not brand new. So Andre, you're not brand new, but you've been now, you bought your B&B, you're on the dApp, you bought your Vetter, you have your wallet set up, okay, and you're ready to actually, you're getting on the dApp and you're getting ready to post your first scout projects, and it actually, you get it on there. Awesome. Okay. Maybe you get 10 projects on there. Okay. What I want to know is I want to start to develop out with you, you guys, all of you, not you, Andre, don't worry. I'm not pinpointing you. But what I wanted to do is I actually want to talk about what are the strategies, what are the different ways that you're utilizing the platform. Okay. What's your daily routine? What are your daily best practices? And keep in mind that we have a lot of new areas here back in our tracker section. Okay. But I want to start out by just asking the question, to the group. Okay. And you can actually write them down, or put them in the message chat if you like. You can raise your hand if you actually want to speak. That's fine too. But I want to know, what are your daily practices? What is it that you do? So you have projects on the calendar, you wake up the next day, and what are some of the things that you do to get yourself prepared, for that day? And I want to talk about that because here's the thing, guys. And like I said, last week, I know, Ryan talked a little bit about simple daily disciplines. And I can tell you this, I'm going to share with you a couple things that I think are really important. And, in your lifetime, first of all, you're going to meet about 10,000 people in a lifetime. That's a fact. And if any one of you change the lives of 10 people, and then they change the lives of 10 people, and so on and so forth, you are making some extraordinary inroads into helping people, right? And why do I say that? Because is helping people really difficult? Not really. It's really not. You can do so many things to help someone, right? My neighbor, he has a difficulty walking. He loves the flowers I plant, outside my patio and on my porch. And he asked me where I got them. So I basically went out on Saturday and I bought him a pot and potted it for him for his porch. Okay, not so difficult, right? There's so many things that you can do. And if you can share, like just 10 simple things, you can actually start changing a lot of what's around you. So I'm talking about that because, small task, basically what they do is it encourages another one. So let me give you an example. I watched, and I can't remember his name, but he was like, and I think he was a SEAL. I don't know whether he was a Navy SEAL. And he actually did a talk with a bunch of seniors back in, I think it was 2014. And Google it, guys, just like, Navy SEAL talk with seniors in college or something, and you'll find it. And I love that. It actually changed a lot for me in how I actually look at things I do on a daily basis, those simple daily disciplines that, that we talk about, okay? And the first thing that he basically talked about was he was telling the story that he remembered the day, he doesn't remember the day he graduated because he had such an awful headache, and he was hungover from the night before. And he says, in fact, I don't even remember the boring speaker, that was, meaning he was talking about, he was speaking himself. I don't even remember the boring speaker that actually talked, to the congregation, so I'm going to try not to put you to sleep. And so he starts talking about doing small tasks over time, how it will give you massive, gains in your life. And the one task that he talked about that he learned, in boot camp, okay, that he had to do for 6 months, where they did blood, sweat, and tears, and they had to go through all. I was never in the forces, so if any of you are, thank you so much for your services. We truly appreciate you. My dad was in the Air Force. So it's what he talked about was that, he was taught so many different things, like swimming in ice cold water and basically not sleeping for days and so on. And one of the tasks that he had to do that basically changed his life forever. And that one small task was actually making his bed. And he said this to a whole crowd of college kids that were graduating. And I started scratching my head and I'm like, so what's this have to do with anything? And because I remember those days, not making my bed, jumping out, running to my class, heck, it was crazy, right? So he said that one simple task that he did on a daily basis is what encouraged him to continue to do little things, every single day. And why? Because those little things over time, okay, become huge. They become really, really big things. So small tasks over time will give you massive gains. Okay, massive, massive gains. So what are some of the tasks, and I don't like using that word because it sounds almost like a job, but what are some of those best practices that you do on a daily basis that will help the community, get more effective in what they're doing? So Aaron, go ahead and you can go ahead. I'm going to lower your.
Hey, Phyllis, how you doing?
Good. I'm great. How are you?
Good. I'm starting to spend more time on that. Last couple of weeks have been kind of life got in the way for a little bit, but I just wanted to say too, there's a book called The Slight Edge from Jeff Olson. You got that one. Anyway, the same thing, that little those little tiny habits that you do compounded over time. I was just going to say this basically the same thing that you did there, that it's amazing the effect that can have, or if you don't do things compounded slowly over time as well, the negative effect it can have on you. So finding those few little positive things that can compound over time is very powerful.
Right. And what I'm going to relate it to is, I know Ryan related it to the Slight Edge book, and that's a great book. I read it like I don't know how many times, and it's an awesome book. But what I wanted to do today is I wanted to actually relate that to how we actually, the small tasks that we can do over time, where we can learn over time to become, better scouts, better investors. Let me throw it out there. What's one of the first things that you do? Now, everybody's going to be different, right? Because for obvious reasons, not everybody does this full time. Some people are retired. Some people put more time into than others. So let's base it on it's your day off. You have time. And there is a systematic approach that you use that has been very effective. And it's proven by the amount of wins that you've had. So is there anybody out here that can actually talk about that? I know there's a couple people on the call that can. So I'm going to just, ask if that is you, if you can kindly unmute yourself and let us know what are some of those things that you do, some of those experiences that you created for yourself to help you get through the day and become a much more successful scout. Anybody want to jump in? All right, let's see. We have a hand raised. Awesome. All right, Justin, go ahead.
Hey guys.
Hey there.
So I ironically, actually, I think I watched that same Navy SEAL thing.
It's a great video, isn't it?
I don't remember it. However, what I do remember is the making the bed. And I make my bed every day. I can't stand making my bed, but I can't stand getting out of it actually. But I don't I make my bed because it's a small task, like you say, but it's something that I am able to complete. And that is a big thing. And routine is a big thing. I found when I very first started getting into the pre-sale world, even before Vetter, I found I was allowing emotions to run a lot of my decision making, and I was failing at every turn. And until I kind of joined Vetter and educated myself more on the process and whatnot, and a lot of the community support through the Discord at that time, really instilled in me to remove all emotions when it comes to investing in and participating in projects. So I've worked really, really, really hard. I feel very confident that now I basically do all my investing without virtually any emotions, and I've become so much more successful by doing so. I know that if if I feel like I missed out on a project, or I couldn't get into a pre-sale, I wasn't quick enough, or wasn't whitelisted, whatever, there's always an hour later another project that's probably just as good that can be found on the calendar, that you can participate in. So there's always another one. So I think for me, routine: getting up, making the bed, sitting down, having my coffee,
Yeah.
opening the tabs I want to have open, going through my Telegram account groups where I've joined the projects I'm either scouted or vetted or investing in, checking the updates and getting up on date on that.
Justin, how
And
do
then
you, let me ask you
sorry,
a question. So
yeah.
for the group, now I know you do a lot of projects. So how do you keep track of the Telegram groups that you're in? Is there some kind of trick that you use that you can help others? You know, because you said you go right into the Telegram groups that you actually you invested in.
Well, I have created all the folders and I've
Mhm.
itemized those folders: either scouted, unranked, scouted, vetted, invested in, staking, and so forth. And so I I file those, and ones that I kind of want to keep an eye on, but don't really want to look at every day. I archive, and or if I need updates for a launch date to add to the calendar on a scouted project or whatnot, I will archive those and refer back to those from time to time. But primarily just using the folders system on Telegram, how I kind of
Mhm.
keep things organized. There's well over a couple hundred groups a part of it, so yeah, it's tricky.
It is tricky. So I'm going to try to relate that to the actual to our dApp. Now, could another way be to actually go to your projects, right, and look at the projects that you have. Now, mine are not all up to date, guys, because I was very busy for the last few months. So I'm starting to actually get things back into order, meaning I need to go through a lot of my projects and archive things and move things around and so on. So could we utilize, could we utilize this for projects that, we have future projects, right? So we know that we have this future button here under my projects on projects that I personally had, put to the, put to the scanning pages, right? So, another way could be that I just go here, and again, if you got to be disciplined enough, right? And to come here daily. And if you have 10 projects or 20 projects, you can actually go right here, right? And go right here to the Telegram group and find out
Yeah,
what's going on in that world, right?
yeah.
So,
Oh, sorry.
no,
I
I
was
was
sorry to interrupt you, Phyllis, but with these new upgrades and with the signal calls and whatnot, I kind of I did that. I used the calendar and my dashboard to do that. However, um, I will favorite a lot of projects, not because they're favorites, and I don't want to mislead anybody who may follow me or do the same thing, but I favorite them because I don't want them to get lost in the hundred and something projects I have going where I need to update an AMA time or a launch date or something like that. And so and a lot of times I'll favorite ones that I don't like, that I don't think are good, but I don't want it to look as though I'm favoriting it because I like it. So I'm not
no,
exactly sure with this new upgrade how to
well, that's
organize all
why
that.
that's kind of part of this exercise is I'm trying to just take a look at you're from the old school like me, from using the dApp, or being in the Telegram group, right? And everything we did it a certain way, so I was just sitting here thinking today, I was like, well, right now I only have 3 projects that I actually scouted, okay, at this point. But if I need to, I can actually go right here to be a good scout. I can actually go right here and go into their Telegram group and see if anything has changed or anything that I need to actually update on. Whereas what you said is another great way. You have your folders here of projects that you've actually are interested in. So today what I did is I went here and I kind of looked around and I found a couple things that were new. One was they actually, and I'm going to go back to, whoops, I'm going to go back to, why do I always do this, guys? I am so sorry. I'm going to go back to my page, my meeting Zoom. All right, here we go. So, so I went back here and I was like, I found a couple things, I wrote it down, and then I went back to my project and I updated a couple things that I found that were new, that I didn't have on my actual project. So that's another way that you can actually, kind of go back to and look at the projects that you actually have for yourself. That could be a good discipline. So that's great. I'm so glad you brought that up, Justin, because that made me start to think of other ways. So does any, what else, Justin? I know that you're a great scout and you keep, and I'd like for you to talk about it, because particularly you, because you do an amazing job when it comes to follow-up. And I often scratch my head and say, how does he do that? Because you'll actually, you'll put something in the chat and I'm like, oh my God, how did he find that out? What's that? So I want to pick your brain and figure out, how can we utilize the dApp to be able to help us, do some of the things that, that you may do. Or I know Gordon's also another great scout. There's a lot of great scouts. So yeah, I mean, what else? Can start throwing things at me, and Gordon, you can jump in too. I'd love to hear. And then we can start to look at how we can best utilize, our dApp as well.
As far as updating like scouting and vetting reports, I ask a ton of questions, and on my projects, if you were to go onto the Telegram group or the Discord group, you'll see that I'm borderline annoying. And a lot of the time throughout the conversation I have, I will bring up the fact that I'm a member of Vetter.
Mm-hmm.
And I make it very clear in that open chat that I don't feel it's appropriate. It's kind of tacky to put links in their group. So it's a great way for me to DM the admin, the dev, or the owner,
exactly.
or whatever. And so, because a lot of times they're bombarded, they just don't want to see it or hear it. They don't want to know when or look through all their DMs, but they always tend to do when I interact as much as I do with them. And so it's a great way to start that private dialogue as well. And also, bring up the Vetter Spotlight link for them to potentially advertise or be on an AMA or whatever. And so when I do have a question, and I can't get clarity through the main group, virtually every time that private chat that I have with them, they're very quick to respond. In that, and because I believe they also do check out Vetter when I do that, and they know that they give it a lot of credibility and they and respect, and they don't want to look bad. So they do make a good attempt to keep those communication lines open, and I'm actually doing that right now with a project I'm vetting, and we're actually spending more time in the private chat. I'm having to go back to the open chat to ask the questions, just so the rest of the community can see the questions that I ask as well. but yeah, it's that's a great as far as a scout or a vetter specifically. That's a trick that I use to get a personal one-on-one with them.
Right. And
More
but
personal.
how do you keep track of like when things, like when you have to look at things? Do you look at these projects like every day?
Every single day, I look at every single project of mine when I start the day, and I look to see. I start not on my tracker, but on the CrowdX calendar. I look and I go day by day to see what projects are coming, because it kind of prioritizes what I need to finish up
Exactly. You could do
first,
that
and
too.
that's very important. So I go into the search on the calendar. I
Okay, so
type in
let's do it so that we can
Sure.
actually share. Basically we go to the calendar, and you can actually search by his name, and that's something that you can easily do here. So he goes by Metal Ride. Okay, so basically these are the projects he's talking about. Right. So he knows that tomorrow is Wednesday. He has a project that's going to be allegedly launching. Right, Justin?
Can you open that one? I can't see it on my screen.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh yes. Okay. So I
Acorn.
did do this. Yes. Uh, yes. So this one, if I have vetted it, as far as I'm concerned, it's as complete and it's as much as I'm going to go with the project, and I'm going to sort of leave it there. The only thing, and I don't think this is one of them, but the only thing that I have found recently with scouting and vetting is when the project is a fair launch. It says launch date when we're filling it all out, and I find that a little bit misleading, because it's the launch date of the IDO or the launch date of the actual project.
Right.
So that's the only thing that I'd probably put in the notes after the fact, once I knew that. But otherwise, yeah, once I vet it, one of my project, then it's done. There. So then I'll move on to the next one on the calendar and make sure that it is complete, or as complete as it can be.
So basically while you're here, like, and you're the vetter, right? And you are also the scout. Okay. So do you verify that this is actually pre-sailing tomorrow? Do you go look at that to see if it's still on?
I do. I make sure that everything is complete. Like otherwise I feel I'm not doing my job.
Right. So as a scout, you scout at the project, and then what you're doing is, daily you're looking at the calendar, and then you're going in here on every project and looking. Now you can always be a couple days ahead of yourself or whatever, but you can go right here, it's launching. Apparently you can go to their Telegram group at that point. You can actually even ask the question, you guys is pre-sale still on for tomorrow? Because if he gets an answer that may help whoever is the investor here, okay, he's going to want to put that in. He could put that in as a vetter. Whoops. I wonder why I did that. Huh. I have to check that out. He could actually either go in here and edit it as a vetter, or edit it as, a scout. But the other thing, like this here, he has here a red flag, team is not doxed. Okay. Well, this might be something that he may want to go to and look and see, hey, have they doxed? And if they haven't doxed, then, maybe he needs to go back in here and, do an update on still haven't doxed, or team claims they have a KYC with Pink Sale. So basically, and he says they have cartoon pictures with alias under the team section of the website. So again, it's a quick and easy way for him, okay, to go to the calendar, pull it up, find out whether or not is it still launching. If it is, great. If it's not, and he sees issues that he had before, he can actually go and, update them and figure out, what the next step is. Is that correct, Justin?
Yeah, is that spot on? And actually, this project is another good example when we're talking about strategy of since the new upgrades of a strategy that have just started in the last few days. And so what I am doing, scouting the project, I'm scouting the project unranked. I am asking the rest of the scouts to, before assuming the project, to just kind of hold off until about 24 hours before the project launches, or if I remove my tags that say so. And then I'm going to immediately vet the project, good project or bad project. And once I do that, if I like the project, if I can stand behind the project, then I will assume it. Otherwise, I will not, like this, and I don't trust this project. I don't like it. And so I'm just going to leave it unranked as a scout. And that's kind of another way, another strategy that I have.
Uh-huh.
I'm finding I spend a lot of time scouting and vetting, and I'm not investing as much as I want to. So by doing this, I'm finding, okay, I like this project. I scout this project. I'm going to invest in this project. I'm going to stand behind it. If they do, I do. So that's a strategy I've just started
Mhm.
employing here the last few days.
Okay, well, that's great. Anybody else want to chime in? Is there anything that they do? Sleepy Guard, I see your message, and actually that is something that they are working on. He put here, might be a kind of neat to have some sort of vetter badge for people who become vetters and still scout projects, like the press badge. You could show people for legitimacy. That's exactly, we are working on something like that. So that is a great point. And we will do that so that you can actually, like Metal Ride will have, his badge that he's a good scout and so on. So I don't have all the details on that. They're still working that out. But anybody else, and you're, and it doesn't matter, Justin, if it's still you, I don't care. What else do we do? So, one of the things as a scout, we go to the calendar, we look and see what projects we have launching, that are going to be launching. Okay. Now, we can also look at, our own ready to launch projects, right? Because we can actually do that by the tracker, I believe, right? Because you have now I only have a couple projects. That's why it's easy for me to go here, but I can go here and I can actually go to Launchable. Okay. And these here, actually, I not archived them, but canceled them because they were rugs. But, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, oh, is this even still around? It was supposed to launch on the 18th. Now, guys, like I told you, a lot of my stuff's not up to date. Shame on me, but there was good reason behind it. But for you, you can go here and go in here and look at Launchable, okay? Or you can actually look at Future, so you know what's coming up, okay? And if you keep up with your projects, when you get to Launchable, now if I kept up with my projects, okay, the only thing that would show up here are projects that I basically need to launch because all the information has been updated and so on and so forth. Does that make sense, guys? I need a response.
Yes.
Yes, it does, Phyllis.
All right, great. Sleepy Guard, do you have something you want to say too? Or you already made your comment? All right. So, because that's also something that needs to be, it's not just about looking at the calendar, right, as a scout, but also you need to see, what are your own projects, what's launchable, what needs to be launched. But if you're doing what Justin said on a daily basis and taking a look at those, it won't take long, trust me. Okay, because all you're really doing is you're going to go to the website, you're going to check it out, or you're going to go to the Telegram group, check it out, make sure it's legit, and then update your stuff. And then when you get to that date where it's launchable, all you really need to do if you're invested in it, of course, that's going to be easy to remember to launch. But if you're also the scout in the project, you want people to vote on you, right? because that's the only way that you're going to get your ranks up to the next level, is if we have people who come in and vote on the legitimacy, the positive part of your journey. So if you don't launch it, then no one really can actually vote on it. And that kind of defeats the purpose of the way this actually works. So we learned, a couple things. We learned on, we can either check it through Telegram, we can go to our My Projects, make sure that we update, we can look at our ready to launch. Another thing that might be something now that we have a lot of this here, okay? Now, watch lists, I just want to explain with this because I really actually didn't realize I was actually doing this, the projects, holding them as a watch list. But the watch list, the way I understood it, and I asked Jeremy to explain it to me, that was meant to be, and it could be whatever you want it to be, guys. This is your dApp. You can do what you want. But this made a lot more sense to me. He said a project that you're watching means that you want to actually go do your own due diligence on that project. You're not quite sold on it yet. You're not sure about that project yet, but you don't want to lose it. Okay. So you definitely want it to put it on a watch list, right? And then when you're clicking watching, those projects are actually going to be here. Now, the favorites, as he described it to me, okay, and like I said, I misused this because the favorites should be anything that I feel that I'm going to go into, okay, that I did my research already, and now I'm actually going to go and I'm going to I have the heart on it because now I feel good about it, okay? If I don't feel good about it, I'm going to actually uncheck this, right? Now, I don't want you to go ahead and check these guys, okay? Because these are not legitimate, okay? Meaning I have not done my due diligence. I am just sharing with you another way of a good habit. Again, something small, that you can do every day over time, okay? And before you know it, okay, these projects are going to they'll become monsters. You're going to get involved in a lot more great projects. You're going to be able to know, when you come to this, you're already going to know, what, I know I'm not getting into that. I know I'm not doing that. I'm doing this. So it's going to help you, again, another way, another best practice that could help you, if you're, am I still interested in this? Maybe, maybe not. I need to figure that out, right? So that's another way. Okay, checking your watch list might be another daily routine, right? That is easy to do, especially now, with the way we have this all set up. The other thing I was thinking about too, if anybody else is following along with me on your dApp, is there anything else, any other new feature that you see that could be utilized in some way, okay, that can be incorporated into a best practice for, a scout or a vetter? Any input on that, guys? Don't worry about the answer. Doesn't mean it doesn't have to be right. And we don't know whether it's right or wrong because we're just learning the nuances, right, on the dApp. So Justin, you have something to say, my friend?
Yeah, I think one of the most important things, in my opinion, about the new the new upgrades is selecting and how to select the person that you or people that you want to follow. Mm-hmm. So I could see from an investor point coming to the calendar specifically and looking for projects to invest in could be quite overwhelming. There's so many options, so many things, and by shortlisting down using the oracles at the top on the CrowdX calendar is if maybe if you're comfortable with the Binance Smart chain, start there. Just click on that, look at the projects, and then from there, if you're unsure about IDOs and you and you don't have tokens you're staked in those certain launch pads, so that's probably not for you. So look at pre-sales and fair launches. Are you into fair launches? Shortlist down to that and just shortlist it down, and then find the scouts or the vetters who are consistently adding those projects to the calendars, and
This goes right. That's
selecting
excellent.
those
Yep.
scouts.
Thank you so much, because that's important. And that's kind of why this is a kickoff or another level of what Ryan shared on Friday, right? Because Ryan shared about learning what some of these people are doing, some of the scouts, what are they doing? And he went to a whole thing of checking out different scouts and vetters, and he looked at, I think he identified somebody being who does a lot of IDOs. Maybe you're not an IDO person, but if you are, then K-Vetter might be somebody you might want to follow. I personally am not an IDO person, okay? So that leads you into what you're talking about, Justin, as you start to understand, okay, and how do you even decide that? Well, you can go very simply, go to the dashboard, okay, and you can kind of look at some of those people who've actually had some really significant gains, right? This might be a starting place, but like Justin said, knowing what type of projects these guys post on a regular basis, and how do you know that? And just like Ryan said, it's about a volume of launches. So if you're actually going in and looking at all the projects that these guys are doing, what is the strategy that they're using? Is it IDOs? Is it fair launches? What is it? Okay. And that kind of is what you're kind of talking about too, Justin, right? In regards to, learning the, how people actually are posting on the group, so that they can learn what types of projects that they actually post. Is that kind of, am I on the right track with that?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. I think like tier 3, where you only have the ability to follow one scout or vetter. If you're finding yourselves just focusing on pre-sales, you're not going to want to follow that person that just basically scouts IDOs. So yeah, just be wise in your decision. It'll help in your success for sure.
Okay. Kenneth actually is a newbie. Welcome. I didn't know that. Welcome, Kenneth. Everybody say welcome, Kenneth. Actually, Aaron just answered your question. Aaron, why don't you come on and explain that are you in a place where you can open up and chat? Perfect.
Yeah,
go ahead and do that.
Yeah. So the different launch pads that have IDOs, you're required to hold a certain amount of tokens. You'll get allocations, kind of like what we've got coming up with VPAD here. The more tokens you hold, the more allocations or more you can participate in the specific projects that are launching. So fair launches are a different kind of launch as well. That's something that you can get into. In fact, I put a little bit in that one that you were talking with Brink about today, Phyllis, just to.
Oh, did you? Yeah, I actually did too.
Yeah, just a little bit to see, and then I guess that one will be launching tomorrow, because in the next couple hours that one will close, the fair launch. So there's a window, period of time that it's pretty much open to anybody that you can participate in, Kenneth, and then they'll close that, and then usually within a day or so after that they launch it on an exchange and it goes public, so you can do what you want. You can claim your tokens and then do what you want with those.
Well, let's look at that now that we're let's look at this. The project he's talking about is called Rocket Global. And this is actually, it was scouted by Gordon, who's a great scout. And then the vetter, which is Crypto Gal, who's an excellent vetter. Okay. And, they brought some information into the project itself. Today, there was an AMA. That's an Ask Me Anything. There was a voice chat going on, and somebody put out there that they liked what they heard. Okay. So you might say to yourself, well, I'm new. I wouldn't know. First of all, you shouldn't get involved in anything without watching it. Okay. Now, this is what is called a fair launch. Now, let's go to, I'm going to take you I'm going to take you to Telegram. Okay. And I'm going to open up Telegram, and there's over 26,000 people here. Okay. And they're having a fair launch, and I went to the pin messages, and this is the actual link, and I have it open already, but I'm going to open it again. And this is Pink Sale. Pink Sale, you don't have to have tokens to participate on their launch pad. Okay. So an IDO wouldn't be here. Okay. So this says that there's 20 hours left, okay, for them to reach 1,500 BNB. Well, they don't have to even reach that, but they probably will. But what's going to happen is anybody and everybody can take part in this. Now, in the beginning, I understand there was some wait list that were able to buy their project right first, and then they opened it up to the public. So anybody can go right here, right now, okay, and kind of be like, kind of first in line. Right now, there's 716 contributors, okay, and if you look, the maximum buy is 5 BNB. Okay, so, if you wanted to buy it, you would put your amount in here, and then you would click buy, and it would take the money out of your wallet and would actually be your, you'll have that information. Tomorrow, what's going to happen when they actually go live, this is going to say claim, and it's going to say claim, tokens or whatever. You're going to click claim, and then the tokens are going to show up. They won't show up until tomorrow, after they actually load the liquidity, and then it gets moved from here to here. The only thing you need to make sure that you do is that you're adding this token address here into your wallet. And that's another whole subject. But I wanted to share with you that this is a fair launch. So I'm going to look, and I'm going to say to myself, okay, let's look at, let's go back to where I was, wherever that was. Here, and let's look, Gordon Gecko. Okay, let's go here based on what we heard. Okay, so we're going to go to the crowd DX, right? And let's just put Gordon's name in. Or actually, you know what? Let's not even do that. Let's do category. Actually, no. Let's do. What do I want to do? Oh, fair launches. So if Gordon, and I'll pop his name in here too. Now, I don't know that he does fair launches all the time. Okay. But this is a fair launch that this person, Gordon, put in. So what's for me, if this does well, and I start seeing him post other fair launches, and I do well in fair launches, then he might be someone that I might want to follow because I like the strategy that he uses. So that's great. Let me look at here. Kenneth has so sorry. This is the stuff I really need to know. Regrettably, I have to go pick up my kids, but I will listen to the replay for sure. Thanks, everyone. I'll be around and look forward to becoming a better. And you will. And we're going to actually have a recording on this, and we're getting ready to jump off actually in a minute as well. Now, guys, one of the things that I wanted to actually just mention, okay, and this is actually, and I'm going to talk specifically to those of us who were in Discord from the early days, okay? We did things from a different perspective. We didn't have the dApp to actually fall on, right? We didn't have a dApp that we can actually look at. So now we have the dApp. So what I'm going to ask, and it's a little bit of homework, and I'm hoping you guys will do this, okay? And I know you will, but please think about this. Go back now and look at all the new things that were added to the dApp, okay? And is there anything that we used to do, okay, that you still do, maybe the old way? And not saying that's a bad way to do it. I'm a creature of old habits. I like old habits. But if you're finding that there's another way of getting to where you need to get to, and you find it somehow in the new, in all the new project on the new dApp here, let us know. Okay, I love to, because that's what I was actually doing today. I was looking at, how can I actually utilize this, to really cut some time out for myself, carve time out, collapse time frames. And today it was a learning experience, and I've already came up with a couple, and thanks to everybody who contributed. Thank you, Aaron, and thank you so much, Justin, because you're always a big help, and those who put, messages in the box here as well. Now let's see here. Actually, Wanda said there's only 718 contributors when they have 26,000 in the Telegram group. That's right. So what does that tell you, Wanda?
That I'm wondering where's the buying pressure? I'm so used to better setting the bar, right?
And that's right.
But
it's a
when I
fair
look
launch,
for that
right?
with my projects, like where's the buying pressure?
Right, it's a fair launch. So it remember the maximum was 5 B&B, right?
Well, you'd think it would have sold out really, really quick. And personally, I haven't had much luck with fair launches just because of the way the pricing works when you get into a fair launch. So I've been using it as I've probably got about 10 projects that I'm kind of just sitting back watching and taking Ryan's advice and doing the paper trading and not really investing, just kind of see what do I prefer.
Exactly. Right? And that's, if you took the class that Mike actually, it's a paid course. It's like $99. It was the best course I ever took. And when I got into Discord, and that's basically what he shares with you. He shares with you the paper trade, at least, 10 projects.
Well, I just recently started doing that. I'm an A-type personality. I don't listen very well. I tend to put my hand on the stove and get burned a few times first. But so now I'm just trying to slow down, because I also noticed coming on these calls that I tend to FOMO into a lot of projects, and I need to really stop doing that. Right. So,
and that's what we're here to try to help you do, to see different things. And I'm actually going to work with Ryan a little bit. I just sent him a message a little bit ago and asked him if he wanted to tag team and do a call together, and where we can actually kind of continue this same pattern, maybe, because I think it's helpful for people to understand, a lot about, learn to paper trade. That's what Mike taught in the very beginning, getting in a few of them, see how you do, learning the nuances of the platform so you can utilize it to the best of your ability. So, because guys, there's some powerful things on this dApp. I'm telling you, ones that, and stuff that I didn't even take notice of, because like I said, I was really busy for the last several months, and I'm now really starting to kind of get more involved, in looking at the dApp more frequently and cleaning up my my profile and all that stuff. And there's a lot there to learn, and there's a lot we can utilize. So I just want to say thank you to each and every person here. I wanted to thank for your contribution, Sleepy Guard, and like I said, Justin, and Deborah, I think you even chimed in, I believe. Thank you so much. She said she still goes to the insider chat, and you can do that too, but there's different ways to gather the information. And thanks, Aaron, as well, for your contributions. So guys, I'm going to call it a night. It is actually 5:04. I apologize for keeping you past your school time. And I just wanted to say, thank you again so much for everything that you do here for the community. And it was my pleasure to be here today. And I hope that you got a lot of value. So please let me know that in the chat before you leave. It's important for me to know that you're getting value from these calls. So if you can just give me a thumbs up or hey, or yes, or no, or whatever, get lost. I would actually really appreciate that. It does give us a lot more momentum to want to move forward and do more, for the community. So it actually, it's helpful for us. So I'm going to wait a minute or two because I want to see some stuff. Yep. Actually, Deborah, you're right. And I want to continue on to the best practices. And I'm actually going to, I love to have everyone participate in that because I think we're going to come up with a lot of great things and we're going to be able to become better scouts and better vetters. So thanks so much. Have a great night, everyone. A better tomorrow. And don't forget, tomorrow, AMA. Excited. Can't wait. See y'all there. Take care, everyone. Have a great night. Bye
Thanks,
for
Phyllis.
now.
Awesome call.
Adios,
Thank you.
everybody.
Adios. Take care.